Hello, it's Nikki. How you doing? Not only is it Monday, but it's the 1st of February. Can you believe it? January was long, wasn't it? My goodness me. But we're here. We're February the 1st today. I'm not recording this in advance. I'm recording it live. It's Monday, 9:22. Off we go. Okay, today I want to talk about goal setting, and I want to help you have a bit of a focus for this month if this is something that you want. If you're already a couple of minutes in and you're thinking, I don't want to do any goal setting, actually, no, this is not going to work for me. This is not going to be for you. But if you are keen to continue sustaining and growing your personal brand, then this is going to be for you. As always, I'm giving you tools that will work with your circumstances, and it is completely up to you what you take from the exercises, the tools that I share with you, and make them work for you. There is no size fits all, despite what people say on the internet. Just do these 3 things and overnight you will live in a castle. I really don't believe in that. It's always a combination of so many different things. But today I want to give you some things to consider, and I want to share a few case studies from my own life. Do you know what? It's really important that I guess when I was planning my 2021, as much as we can in all of that, and I was really thinking about where I wanted to take my own personal brand. It is always about, of course, sharing my expertise and the things that I've trained in and I've helped other people do. But I want you to know that I'm really working through this process with you as well. And I haven't got it all figured out all of the time. And there are some times where I try things or I experiment or something doesn't go the way that I thought it would. So when I'm sharing this, I'm not coming from a place where I'm like, I think I've got all this sussed and figured out. I'm right there with you on the ground. Okay, before we get into the goal setting, I wanted to give you a little update of something wild that happened yesterday. Yesterday, I ran a half marathon. And I still can't quite believe it myself. I can feel it in my legs today, but I can still walk. I'm up and about and doing what I need to do. I took it really easy yesterday. I did it yesterday morning. But I had no intention to run a half marathon yesterday. But there we are. Who knew? Okay, so what my goal was, so on January the 1st, if you've listened to the episodes throughout January, I shared that on the 1st of January, I ran the furthest that I'd ever run in my life, which was about 17k. So yesterday I thought, okay, I did that on the 1st. Let's see where I'm at on the 31st. And I haven't really done any sort of distance like that since. So I've done about 13, 14 occasionally. I've done quite a few 10Ks, 5Ks, 3Ks, wandering around my house, etc. But it's not like I've been hammering 17K every single day. So yesterday I was like, right, let's see where we are. Let's see what's going on. And this was really important to me. And this is something that I never used to do, but I've really realized that I have to do it. And this is to actually not only put all efforts and thoughts into planning, but also put so much thought and care and attention into reflecting and analysing. So many people can go, right, first of whatever the month is, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm working on. Off we go. And then the temptation can be like, oh, it's the day of like the 28th of the month. Right, well, nothing's happened. Oh, I feel frustrated about this. Right, now time to write a new plan without analysing what has actually gone on. So this exercise was really important for me in terms of that measurement, like where was I? What was going on right here? So maybe before you do today's goal setting exercise, take some time to think about January and what went on? Did I move myself forward in my business? Where are my key times that I can actually work during the day? How can I make all these things easier on myself? So I shared this on social media because I wanted to track the process a bit. Again, I'm clearly not a professional runner or anything like that, but so many of these tools that I use are fantastic for growing your business. So yesterday, when I was going to set out to do my 17K, because that's what I was going to do at that stage, was I set myself up to win. I set myself up with an intention. So somebody asked me on my Instagram underneath my post, how do you like it? How do you start to enjoy the process? And one of the things that I said is I always start with an intention, whether that's a new route, whether that's I've got 3 podcasts lined up on my phone that I want to listen to. Sometimes I'll take a problem or a creative idea that I'm churning over and I think, yeah, I need to move with this and let's just see what's going on. Or sometimes it's a case of thinking, right, I'm going to use some visualization time. I'm going to have some creative time, some time where nobody needs feeding or is trying to get in a cupboard or trying to do X, Y, and Z, that time for me. But I'll be really honest with you, and this is maybe why I was able to go that extra mile. Throughout January, I've been doing a lot of a course that I purchased in 2017, and it's a really great course. It's been one of those actually that I've gone back again and again, and I've really done the work on it. And this is not necessarily what most people do. And I will say there have been courses or things that I've sort of dabbled in, but this one, I found it really effective. And it's been something that is a challenge for me and needs a lot of healing and care around it. And it's been really fascinating over the last few weeks where I've really been dedicating some time to it. I uncovered a lot of stuff. I uncovered a lot of limiting beliefs, things, occasions, moments that I hadn't thought about for many, many years. And I felt like I brought a lot of stuff to the surface. So throughout this process of running yesterday, I had this sense, and I'm sorry if you're eating your breakfast or something else, I had a need to sweat. I did not want that stuff kind of lurking in my body. I wanted it to go. And for me, that visual of running, of moving, of dancing, whatever it might be, and that sweat leaving me, it just makes me feel so much lighter and more refreshed. So I set out yesterday with a clear intention. I looked at my route on the map. And the good thing about this route was I vaguely knew it. So I made a decision to really go for it in terms of a long route. So I made a decision that I would run into central London, and there was a way that I could do it. So I would go through Camden, down past Regent's Park and all across the sort of the top bit of central London, and then kind of wiggle my way back up to where I live. And I can hear my daughter wailing. Off we go. Okay, we'll carry on. Matt's in there. It's all right. So professional, this podcast, ladies and gents. I'm sorry. So I had a really strong idea of where I was going to go, and being able to work through that visualization of being able to chunk it down was so helpful for me. So this is really important in terms of your goal setting for the month ahead. Can you see it? Is it just because if somebody just said, right, tomorrow you have to run 21.1k and just keep running round and round the park, I think that would have just sent me slightly insane. Whereas if I knew that I had these sort of markers in my head, that was really helpful for me. Knowing when I was on, knowing that I was moving forward, and that sense of like, oh, it's just round this corner, or I'm nearly there, or I'm nearly at my next milestone. That really helped me to have that momentum. Because I did get about 5k into it and my foot started to hurt, and I just thought, oh no, this is not really in the plan. But I just had to find a way to sort of distract myself, and bizarrely after about 15 minutes it started to go and it was all okay. So I made a move to do my 17K. I mapped it out vaguely of what that route would look like. However, as I was coming back into near where I live, I was at about 16K. And I was feeling all right. I was feeling like I'd found a rhythm. I was really into a podcast that I was listening to. And I thought, okay, right, maybe I see if I can go a bit further. And before I made a decision, I let myself sit with it for a while. And I thought, I'm going to let this play out. So I did the maths. Right, I'm at 16K. Okay, I'm going to have to find another 5K in me. Okay, so how long is that probably going to take me? Okay, right. Which way would I go? Oh, and I allowed myself to be really playful with it. Oh, what would encourage me? What's the bit that I really... Oh, maybe I could go down that street where they've got the really nice houses. Oh, that person's just had their garden done. I wonder if that's where my head went. So I became really playful. And I didn't immediately go, no, that's ridiculous. No, as if you could do that. I just allowed myself to play in that moment. And again, as we go into our goal setting bit in a moment, that playful thing is really important, because that's when you're going to stretch yourself and do it without noticing. It's almost that moment if you're skipping or you're hula hooping or you're cycling or swimming, doing something, or like an exercise where you pat your head and you rub your tummy, if you actually had to break down how you were doing it, you might lose your flow, you might lose your way. So I didn't want to go into so much analysis of, oh, is this even possible? And could I do that? And how long would it take? And I didn't want to get too serious with it, because then my legs would probably stop moving. So I had to remain in that rhythm. The next thing that I did was I let people know. So I just dropped a voice note to Matt and just said, look, I'm going to go for this and I think I can do it today, and I'm just going to be back a little bit later. But I just wanted to let you know I'm all right and I'm fine, and this is the route that I'm going, and I'll see you in a bit. And that was really good, because again, that just released that sense of, oh gosh, I said that I'll be back at this time, and like, oh, maybe I'm a terrible mother because I haven't done what I said I was, we can all go into those spirals. So letting people know, especially with your goals, is a really powerful decision, because when people understand what it is you're trying to do, quite often they get on board, they move stuff out the way, they support you, they encourage you, they're there with you by your side. When you're a bit vague and secretive and you're here, there and everywhere, that's not necessarily when you're going to get the support. The next thing that I did was I just felt my way into it and tried not to overcomplicate the process. And I allowed myself just to feel it. And what I mean by this was my only intention throughout this moment was to finish it, was to see if I could go the whole 21.1 kilometers and just see if I could do it. So I didn't have to be the fastest. I didn't have to have my best ever pace per K or anything like that. I didn't even have to, finish to a power ballad or anything like that. I just allowed myself to feel it. And I think that's the moment that once you take that pressure off trying to do it as quickly as somebody else, or in a way that's going to make you look X, Y, and Z, or to win the competition, or any of those, that allows you just to be in the moment. Because you know what? That first time you do something, it's just about crossing the line. It's just about crossing the line. You don't need to be able to sell a course on it or do something or share your lessons or anything like that. It was just, for me, about that personal achievement of, can I chuffing do this? And you know what? I chuffing could. So moving on to today's goal setting exercise. The number one thing I would love to invite you to do this month is to move and track it. Again, we're not going for Olympians. We're not going for, oh my goodness, Nikki Raby says I've got to start running or I've got to do this. No, I'm just saying move your body, whether it's stretching, whether it's sitting on the floor and noticing how you're breathing, whether it's making a commitment to walk round the block for 15 minutes, whether it's saying after breakfast, meet you all in the living room and we're going to have a dance. I would love you to commit to moving every day this month in some shape or form and track it. See and notice what's going on. Because when you're trying to do great things, when we're carrying this heavy energy of the world right now, we have to put it somewhere. It's almost like if you've got a blocked drain or something like that, it's just going to get heavier and murkier and grimmer. That's a really horrible analogy, I'm sorry. So find that way for that energy to flow. And commit, I'm going to release this. This needs to move. This needs to shift. I'm going to go on a walk and see if I can find the answer to X. Whatever it might be, however long it might be, see what you can do this month to move. Because I tell you what, if you've got those good, feel-good vibes in your body, you're going to be able to do so much more just by doing that one thing. Just by doing that, you're going to have more clarity, less foggy, more solutions are going to come to you much more easily, and it's going to be great. Number 2, let's not just do the basics. I'm not going to assume anything right here, because at the point that you're at right now, maybe that's all you can do. The basics. The basics could be to make sure that you feed your children every day, to make sure that you've showered and washed your teeth, to make sure you go to bed at a reasonable hour. Absolutely. What I'm talking about more is being open to the possibility of more. Because I have been in a state of let's do the basics lots of times in my life. And I thought by doing just the basics, it would make me feel better. But do you know what? It didn't. By saying just do the basics started to affect the language that I had. So I would say things like, oh, well, we'll just see. I mean, I'm taking a deep breath as I'm talking to you about it. Oh, well, I'll just see what happens. Oh, we can't change it, can we? Whew, I'm tired today. Oh, another Monday, only 2 days till hump day. And I noticed when I just played at that surface bobbing along level, it affected every area of my life. And do you know what? That level just didn't make me feel good. And as soon as I started to shift in, oh, let's have a good day today. Oh, what should we have to eat? Oh, should we have something good for dinner tonight? Oh, I'm going to watch that program tonight. As soon as I started to open myself up, rather than just feeling like I was being dragged along and just doing the basics, that was when it started to get really more exciting. Because once I started to open myself up, other opportunities and situations started to come. Number 3, you might not be able to do everything, but it probably will affect everything in a great way. What I mean by this is so often we can sit down at this time of the month and go, right, this month, here we go. All right, what am I going to do? I'm going to sort my diet out. I'm going to create my first sellout online program. I'm going to have 4 date nights a week with my husband. I'm going to be the best homeschooling parent ever. I'm going to redecorate the living room. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's you, but sometimes I can go into that situation. However, these days I have learned to strip it back. Strip it back easy peasy and go, right, this month, this is what I'm focusing on. And try and allow it to be 3 major things or 2 major things and give myself that focus in that way. But the reason that I'm adding that second bit in is usually if one area of your life is showing you momentum, it's probably likely that you're going to be doing other stuff. So the fact that in January I focused on running, it really helped me in lots of other areas of my life. So I ate better, my mental health was better, I was probably more patient, I had more creative ideas. Likewise, I made a decision that my podcast was going to have the most downloads it had ever had in 3 years. And I did it. And by doing that and by resharing, new business came my way. Other things started to happen. More money was made. All of these different bits and bobs. So it's really important to start small because, trust me, once you find momentum with some parts, you're going to find that in other areas of your life, they're going to follow and be swept along in the loveliness. Number 4. Be really specific. Don't allow yourself to be vague. The vaguer that you are, the harder it's going to be. I've talked about this so many times. I just want to be happier. I just want to make more money. I really need to market my business. I just want to feel a bit more like me. I want to be fitter. I just want to feel calmer, etc., etc. The more specific you can be and what that means to you, the easier it's going to be to make progress. So if you're thinking about, making more money in your business, how much do you want to make? What do you want to do with that money? What does that process look like for you? How many do you need to sell? Do your packages align with that situation? What is the next thing? Be specific. Number 5, live it, don't shout it. This has been really interesting in terms of being available for more. And what I never do if I've got a money goal, for example, is going, right, guys, I need 10 people at this price. Let's go. Do you want to be one of the 10 people? Because nobody wants to feel like a number. Nobody wants to feel like a tally on somebody's whiteboard. It's just really weird. Also, what can happen then is you get really fixated on small, insignificant details. And actually, what your aim is to just keep opening up that container for more of the good stuff to happen. So instead of just shouting, okay, these are my numbers and this is what I want to make, just start to live it. Live, show up how you would to say that you are available to make that kind of money. So for example, in November, when I had a really game-changing month for me, and one of the opportunities that came my way that I had to pitch for, that I had to audition for, I wasn't going to say, guys, I really want this job. Can you give me this job? Like, I'm going to be amazing. Please. It would just mean so much to me. I didn't. I just did an exceptional job. I just showed up like I had the job already. I just did what they asked me to do. I just paid attention. I just gave more than was expected. So that's what I mean by that. Really live it and don't just shout about it. Number 6, I believe we're at. I would love you to have a daily plan and a check-in. The reason that daily plans are really important is it allows you to stay in this live it, don't shout about it. So what doesn't happen is you get to day 24 of the month and go, oh my goodness, I can't pay my rent or my mortgage or my bills this month. Blimey, I've got to find some clients. Hi, I'm just following up. Hi. And you're in that kind of nervous energy. So what I never do is allow myself to get to the end of the month and go into that panic situation. I am checking in daily and making sure that my plan of action is aligned with my goals. Because let's face it, none of us have time at the moment just to sit in this lovely jubbly way of, oh yeah, I'm just going to do a bit of work, a bit of shuffling papers. No, you have to check in. Also checking in, you'll be able to notice what is working and what's not. And this is the time, my friends, to ditch anything that is not working. Yes, that's right. We don't have the capacity anymore just to have stuff that are nice to have things. So here we go. Where are we at next? Okay. Number 7. This phrase has been game-changing for me, and it's not mine. It's Gabrielle Bernstein's, and she talks about, if you haven't read The Universe Has Your Back, by the way, I would highly recommend it. It's a really powerful book, and it's a really practical book as well. And there may be even some things when you're looking at it that you're like, hang about, really? But give it a whirl, see what happens. I'm going to leave it there on that book. One thing Gabby says is choose again. Choose again. And again, this gives you the flexibility to change your thought, your mind, your habit, your action in an instant. And this is really key because there is such a temptation to wait until, I'm going to wait till next month because, the 9th of this month, I've messed it all up. It's a nightmare. It's all gone wrong. No, it hasn't all gone wrong. It's all good. You can just choose again. You can close your laptop, you can have 5 minutes off, make a cup of tea, and come back and choose again. This is really important when you're goal setting and you're going to the next level because you want to have that creative choice to choose again. Because remember, the things that have got you so far are not necessarily going to take you where you need to get to. So just by giving yourself that flexibility of, I could choose again. I could maybe make a small tweak here. I could do something slightly different. This is really going to help you remain creative and open. Number 8, it matters. Your goals matter. And I will say that again and again. And again, you might be thinking, but I'm not a key worker. I'm not on the front line. Who am I to be thinking about my goals? It's selfish. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. It's not polite. There's all of that stuff going on. But I tell you what, it is important. And it is important that you stay in your power doing what it is that you do because of the ripple effect. I feel very passionate about this, as you might be able to tell, as I feel a bit of choked up in the back of my throat. You doing what you say you're going to do, and you showing up, and you putting one foot in front of the other, and being an action taker, and creating a change, and creating impact, and being proactive is going to have a ripple effect to people who you know and people who you don't. And this is what I found over the last 3 years with the podcast, that people get in touch with me from the most weirdest and wonderful places. And I'm saying weirdest in the way that they're like, hi, I'm just on the toilet, but I just had to get in touch with you. And this has been really important in terms of why it's I'm losing my words here because I just feel so passionate about it. You continuing to show up for what you want to whatever degree you can is going to have a ripple effect on the next generation. To the person who lives on your street who goes, oh my goodness, have you seen what so-and-so's doing? Maybe I could do that. Maybe that would be great. It's going to have an impact on your money. It's going to have an impact on your independence, how you place your vote, how you can help more people, how you can do spontaneous acts of kindness where you can really and truly help people. So really make sure that you are understanding why your goals matter. And I know why mine matter, but it's important for you to know why your work is important too. Number 9, assume that you will do it. This has been really important when I've had these huge months in whatever capacity, whether it's breaking through a block for myself or a financial goal or welcoming an opportunity, whatever it might be. I try and lean into this end of the spectrum. I'm going to assume that it will happen. I'm going to assume that I will be able to do it. And yesterday, that was really key for me. I'm going to assume I can do this half marathon. I'm going to assume. Let's see. Off we go. Oh, another K down. All right, let's go. Let's go. If you can assume that you're going to do it, it's just going to give you some really good feel vibes. You're going to be betting on yourself to begin with. So see what you can do. And sometimes assuming you'll do it is going, I don't actually have as much time today as I thought I was going to. So I'm just going to do two tiny things, which are going to take 2 minutes each, that are going to move me closer and be on the end of the spectrum of I'm going to assume that I'm going to do it. Number 10, and this is my final point for today. Enjoy the process and enjoy that it might happen in a different way than you're expecting. I absolutely love this because we can all get really fixated sometimes on like, well, it's going to be that thing, or it's going to be that client who said she wanted to work with me and now she's not. I've realized over the last year or so, things will come in a roundabout way. If you are continually showing up and doing what you say you will do and being really clear about your messaging and all of that good stuff, opportunities will come to you. For example, I'm doing a couple of talks over the next few months, and when they came to me in the beginning, they asked if they could just book me for one thing. And then they said, oh, actually, we'd like to book you for 3 things. And again, that was not something that I was expecting. So be really open to lots of different ways and don't get attached to, well, it's got to be this way. If I'm going to do that, then it has to show up in this way. So when I set a goal a couple of years ago, I'm sure there's another episode. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it down below if I can. I wanted to make a brand new money normal for myself. And what I did was at the beginning of the month, I wrote down all the different kinds of ways that I could make that money. Also, I made out that how I could do this in loads of different ways. And one of the things that I realized was, whatever the money goal, I can't remember what it was, but I realized that I had been paid, so let's just, for numbers' sake, let's just do this. So if my goal was £1,000, for example, and I'd realised that I'd done a piece of work for £200, I realised that if I really focused and I wanted to get to that £1,000 point, that I could just do 5 hours of that 200 per hour type situation, and I could achieve that goal in the first day if I really put my mind to it and everything kind of aligned in that way. So be really open to possibilities, to ways that you can do stuff. Okay, next steps. I would love you to book a free 15-minute session with me, and let's do this. Let's get a plan. Let's start moving forward. I've got some short options for you so you can work with me and get cracking. The beauty of my work is not only will you have that pre-work time, but you will also have a session with me. So by the time you come to your session, I've got an idea of what you want to do. So you don't spend your first half of your session going, yeah, nothing's really been going right recently and I'm just a bit stuck, because you've put it in the paper already. I've had time to prepare. I've had time to really go through your website, to answer your questions, to work out what's going on. So our time together is really impactful. Also, all of my sessions always include time afterwards. So time where you can do the stuff that you want to do. So you can send it to me and you can actually make the progress, because there's nothing worse than just having a session with somebody, feeling all good to go and I feel really motivated. And then the next day going, oh gosh, I've got all these notes and I don't know where to start. So I will leave all that with you. All the details are down below as always. I'm sending you so much love. Have a wonderful day. I hope this has been useful. Please subscribe and leave a review if you haven't done already. I will be forever grateful. And I'll speak to you on Wednesday. Lots of love. Bye.